Banga, from Nigeria's Niger Delta, is a lush red palm fruit soup where the oil-rich fruit lends body, sheen, and deep flavor. Into the bubbling base go fresh catfish, tender beef, and bits of dried seafood for layered savor. A gentle mix of regional spices, think African nutmeg, castor seed, orima, jansa, and bellatet, perfumes the pot without overpowering. The result is a glossy aromatic sauce that clings to every bite. Traditionally, you tear off iba, or a soft starch ball, and let it soak up the goodness, pure comfort, beloved across the region. Steam curls off a clear amber broth, aromatic with cinnamon, star anise, charred onion, and ginger. In northern Vietnam, pho rose from street stalls, and by the 1930s, the raw beef tradition took hold, paper-thin slices flash-cooked right in the bowl. Today you'll find beloved variations, raw, mixed cuts, brisket, tendon, each bringing its own texture. Rice noodles go in first, then slivers of beef, and a ladle of boiling broth kisses them just cooked. A crown of fresh herbs, scallion, and a squeeze of lime wakes everything up. Simple, soulful, and endlessly sippable. Beets hit the board, ruby shards releasing earthy sweetness. Into the pot they go, simmering until the broth turns a brilliant red, brightened with a tangy splash of kvass. Cabbage softens garlic blooms. Dill lifts the aroma. Ladle by ladle, the soup gleams like stained glass. A cool dollop of sour cream melts into pink swirls on top. Around a family table, laughter rises. Heritage, resilience, pride passed from hand to hand, season to season. Dawn paints Marseille's harbor nets drip gold, fishermen sort the catch. In the pot, olive oil sighs, garlic wakes, fennel, tomatoes melt into a sunlit base. Saffron threads bloom, turning the broth a maritime gold. In go the treasures, firm white fish, rockfish if you can, plus mussels, shrimp, maybe a crab claw, because the bouillabaisse charter insists, multiple fish and shellfish, not just one, for true depth. The broth is ladled steaming over tender fillets, crustaceans glistening like jewels. On the side, toasted bread crowned with fiery rouille, swiped and dunked. Sea breeze, harbor bells, and a stew born from the day's honest catch. In the Minho's rolling hills, comfort begins with a pot. Onions simmer until they soften and surrender, potatoes simmer until they soften and surrender, then are mashed into a silky, pale canvas. Collard greens sliced whisper thin, kale sliced whisper thin, ribbons falling into the broth, to turn it a gentle green, tender, but still bright. A few coins of chorizo slip in to lend smoky depth and a coppery hue. The scent is humble, farmhouse warm, steam on cool evenings, a bowl that feeds more than hunger. Ladled into rustic earthenware, drizzled with good olive oil, it waits at the table beside a chilled glass of vinho verde, crisp, lively, and perfectly Portuguese. In the Maghreb, comfort has a grain, frica, toasted to a nutty perfume, scattered into a tomato-rich broth. Warm spices bloom, cinnamons whisper, cumins glow, chickpeas bob in the simmer. Lamb bones add backbone, chicken bones add backbone. The meat returns, tender, to mingle with the frica's gentle chew. A ladle lifts ruby broth heavy with grains, steam curling like calligraphy. Lemon wedges wait to brighten, a final squeeze over the bowl. Kesra, golden, griddled, ready to dunk. Algeria, Libya, Tunisia, it fills sunset tables in Ramadan, steadying the fast. Simple ingredients, slow patience. Each spoonful a small warmth. That lingers long after the bowl is empty. In Arequipa's shadow of misty, the pot turns golden. Ají amarillo, sunshine sliced, melts into cream. Shrimp slip in just until blushing. Broth thick with milk and a whisper of cheese. Andean potatoes soften to velvet kernels of choclo burst sweet. A ladle lifts, silk and steam, comfort for mountain nights. Cilantro sparks. A poached egg nestles rich as dusk. Heat that hums, not shouts. Sea and Sierra in one bowl. They say it stirs the heart, an old aphrodisiac tale. You say it warms the bones. Either way, the last spoon finds the bottom. On a white-hot Andalusian noon, the blender is a breeze. Tomatoes, cucumber, garlic dive in. Garden cool meeting glass. A slow ribbon of olive oil turns it silky, an emulsion you can almost hear gloss over. Breadcrumbs follow, giving body without weight, a farmer's trick. Before tomatoes sailed in, it was Moorish. Bread, garlic, oil, water, workday fuel under an orange sun. Now it chills in bowls beaded with sweat. A drizzle more oil, a scatter of dice, and the heat steps back. Peanut paste hits, hot pot and loosens into velvet. Stock, tomato, onion, ginger, folding it smooth. Chicken sinks in beef, sinks in smoked fish, sinks in the broth, taking on body and gloss. A Scotch bonnet slips under the surface, heat blooms, friendly but firm. In the Gambia, it's domoda, tomato rich sometimes, with pumpkin ladled over rice. In Nigeria, the peanut deepens around greens. Ugu or spinach served with fufu that tears off like soft thunder. Steam, nut, and pepper rise together, a comfort that holds you and doesn't let go. Roux turns, peanut chocolate near ebony, stirred low and steady, the color of bayou dusk. French technique, West African okra, Choctaw wisdom, filet sprinkled off heat to thicken and perfume. Choose your river, seafood, shrimp, crab, oysters riding the steam, or chicken andouille, smoky and sure. Okra coins slide in, slicking the broth or the roux alone, takes the reins sometimes both, because Louisiana writes its own rules, Creole and Cajun. Porch to parish, big pots and long paddles, cook-offs where bragging rights simmer all day. A lid lifts, the room fogs, pepper and smoke stand up, ladle over white rice. Spoon finds home, story finds bowl. Voiceover. Tomato brightens the pot. Chickpeas settling in lentils, settling in cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, black pepper spice. Trails bloom as the steam lifts. Lamb often joins, tender pieces giving body to the broth. Or it goes meatless, comfort, all the same eggs, whisked in silk. The surface, a squeeze of lemon wakes the edges. Cilantro drifts like green confetti. Parsley drifts like green confetti. Bowls line the table. Ramadan sunsets. Dates and chabakia at the ready. Harira beyond the fast. A weekday soup. A market stall staple. A homecoming. Simmer steady. Ladle deep red gold hearty. And fragrant. A hug you can sip. Tart to Kimberly wakes the pot. Tart to Kimberly wakes the pot. Unripe plums, green and bright. Unripe plums, green and bright. Beef richness anchors the simmer. Marrow deep, slow and steady. Walnuts ground to velvet. Stirred in, the broth turns plush. Camelli suneli blooms, savory herb, warm a hush of spice. Garlic whispers, coriander lingers. Rice swells, catching the tang. A hearty ladle, steam rising. Deep russet glossy herbs on top. Dill herbs on top, cilantro, a final green snowfall, sour savory nut spice carcho, bold and comforting, Georgia in a bowl. Hand-pulled lamian, a dance of flour and air. Alkaline dough, springy bright, slaps the board, stretches doubles threads to silk. Strands fly, land into clear beef broth. Radish moons drift, snow white against amber. A red ribbon of chili oil blooms. At the counter, diners choose. Hair thin, fine, round, wide the belt, one bowl, many paths. Scallions flash green. Steam carries pepper and beef. Bite is chew. Broth is clarity. Pull, plunge, slurp, swift harmony. Lanzu's rhythm in a bowl, precise and soulful. Dawn in Yangon, steam curls from wide metal vats. Mohinga, Myanmar's morning heartbeat. An aromatic broth, bright with lemongrass, ginger, banana stem, thickened with toasted rice powder to a gentle silk. Fish gives depth, savory, clean, comforting. A ladle sweeps, pours over thin rice noodles waiting in the bowl. Crunch follows. Fritters shatter, toasted chickpeas, crisp shallots, lime squeezes, coriander, banana blossom, and chili flakes. Wakefulness and color. One country, many bowls. Coastal towns lean fish forward. Inland kitchens add chickpea flour or catfish. Some deepen with turmeric, some sweeten with onions slow cooked to gold. The vendor moves in rhythm, scoop, pour, scatter, serve. Slurp at the curb, morning traffic humming. Breakfast as ritual, warm, fragrant, brisk. Myanmar's day begins in broth. Tripe takes its time, cleaned cut, coaxed tender in a garlicky broth that breathes chilies and patience. Hominy blooms, pearly kernels rising and falling as the pot whispers all night. In the north, menudo blanco stays pale and pure. Elsewhere, rojo glows guajillo enchiladas lift into waiting bowls. Steam, then the ritual. A snow of diced onion, cilantro, confetti crushed, oregano sliced, chiles, a squeeze of lime. Corn tortillas at the ready. It's celebration food, weddings and Sunday gatherings. A pot big enough for stories. It's hangover lore too, the cure for la cruda at dawn, when the city blurs and the broth steadies you. Deep, peppered, restorative. A party's last song ladled hot. Voiceover, Bahia in a pot, black clay warming slow. Onions melt into a hush, tomatoes melt into a hush, bell peppers melt into a hush, coconut milk pouring like afternoon light. Dawn day stains the surface sunset orange, a glossy tide of palm oil and sea breeze. Sweet shrimp slip in last, poaching gentle, just a blush, just done. So the flesh stays tender, the broth stays bright. Cilantro lifts the edge, lime lifts the edge, steam curls up like a prayer over the table. Set it down, panela de barro, still breathing. Spoon with white rice, maybe farofa on the side. Gold in one spoonful, coral in one spoonful, cream in one spoonful. The coast, the market, the memory of waves. Voiceover, sunlight in a bowl. Turmeric turns the broth a gentle gold. Chicken simmered clear and clean. Lemongrass leans in, lime leaves lift. A whisper of star anise and cinnamon rounds the edges. Shreds of chicken fall like confetti over glassy vermicelli. Halved soft-boiled eggs, runny hearts, settle into the steam. Celery leaves, scallions, cilantro. Fried shallots crackle, squeeze of lime, spoon of sambal if you dare. In Lamongan, a dusting of koya, garlic and prawn crackers, makes it cloud-light. In Betawi, a swirl of coconut milk turns it creamy. In Madura, the spice speaks louder. Stir, sip, bright, comforting, golden. Jakarta mornings, market hum, home. Voiceover, four corners of flavor meet in a rolling boil, sweet, sour, spicy, salty, held in perfect balance. Galangal coins and lemongrass batons bruise to wake their oils. Lime leaves torn, perfume rising. Bird's eye chilies flash heat, sharp and clean. Shallots and mushrooms slip in fish sauce speaks a pinch of sugar nods. A spoon of roasted chili paste paints the broth sunset. Plump prawns drop, pearled, then blooming pink in seconds. Heat off. Lime juice brightens at the finish. A fist of cilantro and sawtooth herb, a drift of scallions. Steam, citrus spice, sip and the world snaps into focus. Pork bones thunder in a rolling boil for hours, marrow and collagen melting into a creamy, opaque broth. Rich, silky, unmistakably Fukuoka. Fat pearls glisten as the pot exhales. Thin, straight Hakata noodles drop in. Cooked kata, firm at the core for a clean snap. A ladle of broth, a lift of noodles, they shine. Chashu, pork belly, slow braised, slice by slice. Fans across the surface, edges glossy. Scallions flicker green, a dab of fragrant oil ripples. Spoon in one hand, chopsticks in the other. The dance begins. Slurp with joy and purpose, Aerate, amplify aroma, cool each strand, honor the craft, eat fast, while the noodles keep their bite. Bowl down, warmth up, simple, perfect. A winter hug in a bowl. Yogurt, egg, and flour are whisked into a silky temper. Steam rises as you ease it into a pot, calming the heat so nothing curdles. Rice or barley goes in to simmer low and slow, turning the broth creamy, tangy, soothing. A knob of butter blooms dried mint, earthy, cool, then drizzles in emerald ribbons across the surface. Ladle, swirl, inhale, soft grains, velvet spoonfuls, that minty lift at the end. Tear into warm, fresh pita. Dip, soak, repeat. Outside, cold. Inside, Yela. Highland calm, home warm.